Today on DIY Cosplays, we'll be making Cardcaptor Sakura Clear Card, Sakura's flame costume from episode 18. Sakura, the fire and the water bird. She wears this costume when she is fighting Blaze. This cosplay will be a series. We'll be working on her fire hair accessory. You'll need 2mm EVA foam or craft foam, paper to make the pattern for the fire hair accessory, and a pencil. Paint. The brand I'll be using is Plaid X Flexible Acrylic Paint with Plaid X Primer Flexible Acrylic Paint. You can also use acrylic paint. Next is polymer clay for the diamonds on her hair accessory and for the rest of her costume and her bracelets as well. There are 6 diamonds in all and 2 bracelets. Hair clip or any hair accessory you want to make the fire hair accessory. Hot glue gun and hot glue stick or any glue of your choice. I'll be using the hot glue gun. So this is what our 2mm AVO foam looks like. This is the paper I'll be using. Here's a pencil. You're going to be needing the FX Plaid Satin Smooth. This color is, they covered it up, but it's not the blood one, it's the other red. And you'll be needing FX Primer paint. You'll also need a paintbrush for our paints, polymer clay. Here is our hair accessory, and hot glue gun, and a hot glue stick. Alright, so we are going to start by drawing out our pattern first. This is the reference picture of Sakura. I have 2 pictures. They come from these websites. So there's this website here of this one, and then this is the other reference photo I have, and it comes from this website here. One has drawn out the pattern for her hair accessory that she wears on her head here. I'll figure out how to put this in a PDF format so that you guys can get it. I'll have to figure out how to do it because I'm not really sure. But yeah, you're roughly going to draw something that looks like this. So there's like a little heart in the center. This is kind of like a lobster claw. This side's kind of like a lobster claw. So yeah, I'll try to see if I could get this in a PDF form for you guys. But if not, just look at your reference here and try to draw it out as best you can. Alright, let's go to the next step. Cut it out, and now we're going to put this on foam, and we're going to trace it and then cut that out again. Okay, so you just got it cut out like this. After tracing it out, the next step is to take our FX primer, and we are going to put a coat on one side, and you're going to let this dry for an hour, and then you're going to put a coat on this side, and you're going to let it dry for an hour, and then you're going to put as much primer as you think you need on. So just follow the directions that are on your bottle. Open your FX Plaid primer, and you are going to either take a popsicle stick and you're just going to mix this together, or you could take your paintbrush and mix it. So what you're going to do now is take a little bit of your primer and paint it on with your paintbrush. So you're just going to continue to paint this on. You'll have something that looks like this, and you're going to let this dry for an hour, and then you're going to flip it to the other side and paint it again and let that dry for an hour. And then after both sides are dry, you're going to then paint your edges of your flame, and then you're going to put your second coat of primer after the edges dry for an hour, and then you're going to put one more layer on each side, and then I'll take you to the painting stage. Now that you've got your 2 layers of primer, we are going to be drawing our diamond on. because I don't think the clay will stick to the paint. So we're going to make a little space on our piece here. So I've got a ruler here. I'm going to draw a line from where our beginning of our little heart shape in the center is down to the bottom here. And then on our pattern piece, we're going to measure up from the bottom and then measure up from the top here. So you're going to take a ruler and you're going to take from this point to this point, and then from this point to this point here. Mine is a 1/2 inch from the bottom to the point of the diamond from the bottom side, and from the top is about the same, so 1/2 inch from the top to the base of the top of the diamond, and 1/2 inch from the bottom of the diamond to the edge of our curve. So we're just going to mark that on our flame here. And then 1/2 inch from the top to the bottom. Have your diamond drawn on. Now we are going to paint this red. We are going to be using the Plaid FX. This is in the color Pyro. Alright, so it's like the primer before. You're just going to mix it up, and we're going to put a coat on of this. Just going to get some red paint, and you're just going to start painting. Try to avoid our diamond space. You're going to let this dry, and if it needs another coat, you can add another coat. Alright, I'll see you guys when we are done painting. Let this dry for an hour, and then we're going to paint the other side, and then you're going to let that dry for an hour, and then you're going to put paint on your edges like we did with our primer. And you're going to let that dry for an hour. And then you're going to put your second coat of red paint on one layer. And then repeat the steps like we did for our primer. So everything is going to get 2 coats. So let this dry for an hour and then repaint again. Okay, we'll come back in a little bit. We're going to be painting our back side of our hair accessory. So we're going to be painting the upper half here and along the edges, but this little section we don't really need to paint because this part won't be seen by anybody because it'll be up against your wig or your hair. So you're just going to paint from this side up and then along the edges of your piece. So I'll show you what that looks like after I paint mine. You'll have something that looks like this. So you're just going to take your paintbrush and dab the ends, and then you'll have this space open here. You're going to let this dry for an hour, and then we're going to put another coat on this. And then after that's done, we'll paint the edges. Meanwhile, while you can let this dry, we could start working on our diamond for the front. Making your diamonds, you're going to need a piece of wax paper, a plastic knife, or if you have clay making tools, then use those. And you're going to need a pan that you are not going to be cooking in later, because it's bad if you put food in stuff that you've cooked polymer clay in. So you can either get a piece of foil, or if you have a pan like this for making polymer clay stuff, this is just an old pie pan. But if you don't have an old pie pan that you're not going to cook in, get a piece of foil. Alright. So in our reference photo, you can see that her little diamond is a pinkish red. So if you could find clay that's like a pinkish red, I have pink to work with, so that's what I'm going to be using. So you're going to follow the directions on the back of your clay, and you are going to set your oven to whatever it says on there. For mine, it says it's 275, so I'm going to go set my oven right now and set that to that temperature. What you're going to do is you're going to cut a diamond out the size of what we said the diamond was earlier in the project, or if I could figure out how to make this into a PDF, you're just going to print it out and then just cut the diamond out. And you're going to take a clump of clay. Mine is one of these slivers plus a half of one of these. And you're going to condition your clay by just rolling it and squishing it in your hands. If you have clay making tools, then you can get out the rolling pin. I'm going to be using this chopstick as my rolling pin. You're going to cut your ball of clay in half. Save this half for when we make the diamond part on top. So you're just going to roll it, and then you're going to squish it. And then you're going to take your chopstick or your rolling pin, and you're just going to roll this out. Alright, so you have something that's slightly thin, but not too thin. And then you are going to take your diamond here. It's roughly about 1 inch. And you're going to place it on top of your piece of clay. And then you're going to take your knife, your plastic knife, or your clay tools, and you're just going to go along the edge of your piece. You're going to cut the rest of your sides out like we did that first piece there. And then you're going to pull away the excess, and you're going to add it to your clump of clay. Take your pattern off, your diamond here, like this. And then you're going to place your clay clump in the middle of your work. And then you're just going to take your fingers and you're going to smooth it down. So like, see if I get this. So you're just going to pull it down like this. And then you're going to pull it to the top. And then you're just going to keep doing this until you get it to the corners of your diamond. If you have to pull and make them meet, like to make the point, you can do it that way. Okay, so now that you've got them in the corners, you're going to pinch them like this to make a line, a crease, and then you're going to take your fingers and pinch this way because we're trying to create this right here. Then you'll have something that looks like this, and then you're going to try to smooth out your fingerprints as best you can. Just by pulling this down. Alright, if you want to continue making diamonds for the rest of the costume in the same way, you can, but I will be doing a separate video on this, but they're basically the same technique as this. So if you want to continue making them for the rest of their costume, which would be her shoes and her chest. See, she has them on her shoes and her chest and then her hair accessory. So if you want to continue making more diamonds, you can. Like I said, I'll be doing another video on that, but it's the same techniques. Okay, so let's stick this on our piece of foil or pan that you're not going to be baking with. You're gonna pick it up and stick it on your foil or your pan. Your directions might be different, but I'll read you what mine says. It says for 15 minutes per 1/4 inch, 6 millimeter thickness. So if it's like super thick, it's going to be a little longer, and if it's 1/4 inch thickness, then it should only be 15 minutes. Like I said, your directions on your package might be different, but that's what are mine. So I'm going to try to go for the 15 minutes and we'll see what happens. It'll look something like this. Mine accidentally got some of the paint mixed into it, but yours won't have these dots. It'll be clean and there won't be any paint dots. So be careful not to get your paint into your diamond, or otherwise they'll come to the surface and you'll have a pokey diamond. Polka dotted diamond. So yeah, if you don't, yours will look normal. It won't have these dots all over it. So it'll look something like this. Mine is still cooling off. Yeah. Alright, so we're going to let our paint dry some more and then I'll take you to the next step. You're going to plug in your hot glue gun and get that ready. You're going to paint your edges. And we are going to glue on any hair accessory that you have. I'm going to be using clips because I can't find my hair combs, but I prefer the hair combs a little bit better. But I'm going to be using these hair clips, which will just work just as great. But use any accessory that you think would be good to hang this off your wig. And so what we're going to do is you're going to open your clip and we're going to place some glue on our foam. So I have my hair clip in the open position. I'm going to be putting them in my space that I have left open that doesn't have paint. So we're going to take the hot glue gun and you're going to put some right on the edge here to glue it down. And you're going to put some on this side over here. And you're going to let that dry. You're going to glue the same one next to it like we did with our top one. And you're going to have it opened. And you're going to let this dry. Put some hot glue on our space that we left open. And you're going to place your clay diamond on top. And then your piece is done. I'll show you what this looks like on a wig when my hot glue is all dried. So we'll get to that in a second. Other side of your wig here, it'll probably be most likely on your head. And then you're going to take your piece and you're going to slide it in. And then you're going to push down to snap it into place. And there you have your fire hair accessory for our cardcaptor sakura fire harem costume. The next part we'll be making the rest of the diamonds and the bracelet. So stay tuned for that. I'll probably upload it sometime this Friday coming up next week. Alright, I hope you like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Bye bye.